Alright, what's going on YouTube? Happy holidays. Today we're going to be showing you updates to the Nova as well as which color we've chosen to go on the Nova. But you'll have to wait till the end of the video before you see what that result is. So let's catch you up with what's been going on in the last couple months. Okay guys, there was a lot of time-lapse footage there. I'm trying to keep this video short and to the point for most of you, so I'm just going to really quickly explain what was going on here. So the firewall is sprayed in a 2K high build urethane primer. This is going to allow me to block this even straighter and refine it even further. I'm just waiting for it to cure before we start blocking it. Now, the metal modifications that went into this firewall were, I added a collar to the opening of the steering column. This is going to keep water from sheeting down the firewall and running in between, the factory gasket that I'm probably not going to reuse anyways. But, it's going to allow water to sheath around that opening. And then there's this new opening you see here. So what is going on here is I ordered the painless wiring kit. It's a super sexy kit. It should make my life very easy to wire the chassis side of this car. It is the 23 circuits Pro Series, so they don't terminate any of the wiring for you. They give you lots of length, and then they give you all the GM factory connectors, right? So it'll hook up to all your lights, the horn, everything, whatever, from a factory perspective. It is the GM keyed column, so I can use my factory column. And it is the bulkhead version of it, which was a little bit of a problem. I'll explain here. So this is the bulkhead. So this harness is from the firewall forward, and this is from the firewall backwards. On the factory harness for the car, the fuse block bolted inside the car on the firewall. And it actually used this connector, so this whole harness works with your factory firewall. Super cool, right? Problem is, I don't want you to be able to see any of the wiring unless it's absolutely necessary. So I've moved a harness. I want the harness to pass through the passenger cowl. This would be seen with the fender on. This won't. The downside is, because the back of this bulkhead fits on the back side of the fuse block, I cannot mount that fuse block here on the inside of the cowl. One, it would be exposed to moisture and everything running through here, and there's no cover that goes on that fuse block. They don't supply one. But second, and most importantly, wouldn't be able to get in there to service it, right? If it was mounted in here, there's no way, even with that fresh air opening down on the floor of the structure here, you couldn't get your arm in there and see what you were doing to change a fuse or deepen a wire or something. It's not possible. So what we're going to do here, we have a pivot. We're going to mount the fuse block someplace underneath the dash, or behind the dash, someplace nice and neat. Hook up the bulkhead fitting directly to it. Run this section of wire for the harness up into the cowl, and then that's where this new funky little hole shape is for this weatherproof Delphi connector, right? So we're just going to cut the harness, pin it to this. This comes in from the back side and slots through, and then this is the other side of it. So it's a quick disconnect. One bolt unplugs it from it, right? And then I would just repin the rest of the wiring to this, right? As long as I don't screw up the repinning, it shouldn't be a problem. Now, I should have gone with the grommet version of this instead of the bulkhead, because this obviously adds a lot to the fuse block that I don't need. It's the same price, so it's not that big of a deal. It just made me change the plan just a little bit, maybe pivot. And then, of course, I had to cut a funky shape in the firewall, which was not fun and not easy. Okay. So I hope that explains everything that you saw in the footage. Alright, so let's get to the more important thing, what you all been waiting for, right? What color goes on the Nova? Okay. So most people that saw the video saw text from me with all the colors. Most people chose this, and this was my wife's favorite. This is the Mystic Blue from the Spray Source, and don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful color. The downside of this is it looks exactly like the blue that's on her Ford Edge, which is Deep Impact Blue by Ford, right? And I can't get past this, guys. I can't have my 70s era Chevy looking like a 2010 plus Ford. It's no bueno, right? So we scrapped that idea. Now, I did have some people over for the holidays, some friends, family, whatever. They all came over and they saw the workbench, the Nova trunk lid here with all the spray outs, and everybody fell in love with this color. Now, if you don't recognize the spray out, it's because this is a new one, but it's basically this color, right? This little guy from the previous video. It was just too small to make a judgment call off, so I bought some new speed shapes and I sprayed it on a larger speed shape, and I'm glad I did, because it made me fall more in love with this color, and anybody that saw it said, yep, this is the one. Okay, so there's a lot of shift and color flop in it, right? It doesn't change color, but it changes the dimension of the color. It's got nice metallic, not too heavy, not too light. I think this is the winner, right? We will know for sure when I buy it and spray it on that firewall, which you guys will be seeing here in early 2025, say by spring or so, right? I got a lot of little work that still needs to be done to the firewall. I got to cut a few more holes that I don't want to be doing after I paint it. So I'm going to cut those first, finish my body work, spray a black sealer down, then the color, then clear coat, cut and buff, and then it's on to mechanicals. So maybe we'll have the motor and trans in by the end of 2025. Maybe it'll be running. Who knows? We'll see how fast things progress. So any questions, comments, guys, you know what to do. Drop them below. Hit the like and subscribe for me if you haven't already. I do appreciate it. And Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in 2025.